places around the world. Today I'm going to take you on a tour of Asia. We begin our tour by crossing over the Bronx River. At over 23 miles long, this freshwater river is home to fish, ducks, turtles, geese, and migrating birds. Whether it's the Bronx River here in New York or the Irrawaddy River half a world away, rivers provide valuable resource to wildlife. As we enter the first meadow, we're looking for 2 deer species and an antelope species. Instead, we find Canadian geese and India's national bird, the peafowl. You know, the males are called peacocks, the females are called peahens. They get together and make baby chicks. But white things you see all over the lawn are the back feathers of the males who are successfully mated. Once they mate, they shed those feathers and grow new ones for next year. Now you can only tell a male from a female, as the males have blue heads and the females have green. They have free roam with the Bronx Zoo. You'll see them everywhere today, not just here in Asia. We'll catch up with the deer and antelope out of their meadow. In the meantime, these hunts tell an important story about the Barasingha deer, who numbered less than 100 not that long ago. This little deer is an Indian muntjac. We'll talk about him later.
In 1970, there were estimated to be only 66 of the Barasingha deer remaining in central India. But this population was saved by the cooperation of the local Indian community. Like the shacks you see here, there were many small farms using space in and around India's Kanha National Park. These people were coming into contact with the deer and the tigers that were also living there. Through cooperation with the Indian government, local communities agreed to relocate their villages. By morning, the farmers still had land to farm, but the tigers and their prey got more room to roam.
Now we all know that an animal that's extinct is no longer with us, like the dinosaur and the dodo bird. The animals in our next exhibit were completely extinct in nature and could only be found in captivity. We're talking about the Mongolian wild horse, or Przewalski's horse. Little guy right here is our newest baby horse. His name is Baron. He's only 10 weeks old. While there are genetic differences between wild horses and domestic horses, sit down please. There are physical differences as well. They're shorter and stockier in build. They've got an erect mane that's lacking the forelock, the piece of mane that falls between the eyes of a domestic horse. They're rocking the mohawk. They were born genetically awesome. We've got a long and varied history with this horse. Dates back over 20,000 years. And I have some of that for you right here.
The first accounts of Mongolian wild horses come from rock engravings, paintings, and even cave drawings that date back more than 20,000 years. And the first written accounts were from Tibet, sometime around 900 AD. But these horses remained largely unknown and unnamed to the Western world for many years. During an expedition to Central Asia in 1879, a famous Russian explorer and naturalist, Colonel Nikolai Przewalski, encountered the horse in western Mongolia. Because of his discovery, this species is also known as Przewalski's horse.
Captive breeding of Mongolian wild horses began in 1901 with a herd of only 28 animals. The Bronx Zoo received our first herd in 1902, and we have maintained that herd ever since. We're happy to report that Mongolian wild horses are being reintroduced into the wilds of Mongolia and southern China from both North American and Asian zoos. As you can see, we give our animals lots of room to roam, as we're still in the Mongolian wild horse exhibit. But Diane and I will be able to pinpoint the animals for you today, even if they're not necessarily in plain sight. It's not difficult to do if you'd like to try. Just put yourself in their boots and figure out where you would go for a shady spot to rest, or a little crazy time. When we reach the top of this hill, we'll be on the lookout for 2 endangered species, the brow-antlered deer and the gaur. Side as well.
Here at the zoo, we help gaur and brow-antlered deer and many other species by participating in cooperative zoo management
come, look to the back fence line, and you'll start to see our herd of brow-antlered deer. Some of them are standing up, most of them are still sitting there. They get their name from the male's antlers that look like two bushy eyebrows coming up out of the top of their head. They're currently classified as vulnerable, as all of their habitat has been taken over for farmland in their native Cambodia. To the right of them are the gaur, the world's largest wild cattle. Males stand 6 feet at the shoulder, 10 feet long, and weigh 2,000 pounds. With their incredible size and horns, a gaur can take on anything, even a tiger. What threatens these beautiful creatures is lack of an Asian habitat and diseases they catch from domestic cattle. If the horns point straight up, it's a male. If they curve in at the top, it's a female. It's easy to forget sometimes that the Bronx Zoo sits in the heart of an urban setting. But shortly behind you, you're going to hear the roar of traffic on the Bronx River Parkway. Even though ironically we're traveling about the same speed as the northbound lane right now. The large wooden fence in front of you obstructing your view is put there to keep back that traffic noise and help our animals feel more at home and calm. This is especially important since in the next exhibit we're on the lookout for a tiger. Once again, please remain seated with all body parts inside the train. Tiger stripes provide excellent camouflage, and sometimes we have difficulty spotting our tiger. Not get me in trouble, he's taking a bath. It's not even Saturday. This is Anakin. He's a 5-year-old, 450-pound Siberian or Amur tiger. In the wild, tigers will eat wild pig and deer, and pig he will. He'll eat 40 pounds of meat in one setting, and then not eat again for 3 days. That's the equivalent of 160 hamburgers to you and I. If you ate 160 hamburgers, you wouldn't eat for 3 days either. With less than 3,000 tigers remaining in the wild, and only 1,000 of them being breeding females, we're working with an organization called Panthera to increase this number. Tiger stripes are like fingerprints, no two are alike. That's how we tell our tigers apart. And they're solitary creatures and prefer to live alone. That's why you'll only see one at a time on display here at the Wild Asia Monorail. We don't want them fighting over territory. On your next visit to the Bronx Zoo, be sure to visit Tiger Mountain, where you can see more tigers and learn about our conservation efforts. Everything's closed now. It's 4:30. All live animal exhibits closed. This is the back of our brow-antlered deer and gaur exhibit. Look up the hill, you'll get a better look at our gaur. They're here to remind me that it's 4:30. They want to come down under the tracks and sleep in the shelters behind us. All of our animals are put away at night. Those are the same shelters they'll spend the winter in. There's another brow-antlered deer by the rocks right there. I think she's well hidden. We're now at the back of our first meadow. Little guys with the white bellies are black-buck antelope, smallest antelope species in Asia, fully grown, 2.5 feet at the shoulder. Males have horns, females do not. That's our alpha male with a dark coat. Little deer with the white spots on them are axis deer. Axis deer have the distinction of keeping their spots their entire adult lives. And down here on the road are the Barasinga. The word Barasinga means 12-tined in the Hindi language, as males can have 12 to 14 points on their antler. Imagine a pig that has tusks that protrude up through its snout and back towards its eyes. This pig is called the babarusa. The word babarusa means pig deer in the Malay language, as the natives thought their tusks resembled deer antlers. Look through the bamboo. This is Kathy in Hillshire, our mother and piglet. And in the second exhibit, we're looking for Julian and Fez, our males, with those impressive horns right here to the left. Asia's version of Pumbaa. They hail from the island of Sulawesi and are highly endangered. If you didn't see the babarusa, have no fear. You can't miss our next lovely lady. This is Happy, our Asian elephant. Once again, please refrain from standing or making loud noises as we do not wish to startle her. She's on the far right-hand side, which tells me the last group did startle her. She's hiding. Happy is 44 years of age and weighs just over 10,000 pounds. She eats fruits, vegetables, 200 pounds hay, 60 gallons of water each day. The elephant's trunk is an incredible tool with over 40,000 muscles in it. That's more than the entire human body. It's got a finger like a dentist at the end. With it, she can pick up an egg without breaking it, or tear down a small tree with great force. She's giving herself what's known as a dust bath. That's an elephant's way of fighting insects as well as applying sunscreen. When she's throwing dirt under her legs, that means the bugs are bothering her. When she's throwing it on her back, that means the sun is bothering her. Don't let the wrinkles fool you. This is one pampered lady. Twice a week she receives baths and pedicures. As we say goodbye to Happy, we're going to say hello to my favorite lady at the zoo. That's Callie, our Indian rhino. Look straight in the mud over here to the right, and there's Callie. Hey Callie, you sit up for us? Good girl. First thing you'll see is her horn, then her eyes and her ears that she's flicking. Apparently the bugs are bothering her as well. Many people describe a rhino's skin as armor-plated. It's actually very thin with lots of folds, and means protection from insect bites and the sun. To do this, she'll sit in a mud wallow, cover herself with mud, and this acts as a natural sunscreen and insect repellent. Callie was born right here at the Bronx Zoo in 1986 and weighs 3,500 pounds. With less than 2,000 rhinos remaining in the wilds of India and Nepal, we're very fortunate here at the Bronx Zoo to care for 5 of these endangered creatures. Caring for rhinos is one thing, breeding's quite another. We're the luckiest zoo in the US of A. We've had 11 rhino births here at the Bronx Zoo. Callie was our first. Well, now you're going to come out of the wallow. Thanks. Callie was our first. The latest was in the summer of 2014. How many moms have I got on the train? There's something to appreciate, Mom. An Indian rhino was pregnant for 16 months. And after being pregnant for almost a year and a half, she'll give birth to a baby weighing approximately 150 pounds. The rhino baby will only stay with its mother for 2 to 3 years, though weaning can take 16 months, so you don't have to worry about college. Although rhinos can achieve speeds close to 40 miles per hour, they're highly endangered because of their horn, and here's more on that.
The horn of a rhinoceros is very different from that of a goat or antelope. It is not attached to the skull. Rhino horn is made from compressed keratin fibers, the same material that is found in fingernails and hair. Although
Get that hand inside.
species, poaching still occurs. Rhinos are killed for their body parts, but some people believe that this horn has special medicinal powers. It is also used as an ingredient in some traditional Asian medicines, and the rhino horn is also prized in some cultures for making dagger handles.
Please keep the hands inside the train at all times. Asia is a continent with the largest number of deer species, as well as deer diversity. As we'll see in this next and largest exhibit of the Wild Asia Monorail. When we come into the clearing, you'll see some little deer. These are hog deer. They're not baby deer, they're fully grown. They get their name because they're short and squat like hogs, and like hogs would rather creep and crawl under things than leap over them like their deer cousins. That's as big as those little deer will get. In contrast, as we come around the corner, you're going to see some very large chocolate-colored deer. These are the sandbar deer, the largest deer in Southern Asia. Males stand 5.5 feet at the shoulder and weigh 650 pounds. There is a baby sandbar in the exhibit if I can spot her. Cute little thing, big floppy ears. Don't see it at the moment. The large tan animals are the nilgai antelope. There she is, top of the log. With the black and white markings on their hooves are the nilgai antelope, the largest and fastest antelope in Asia. The word nilgai means blue in the Hindi language, as the male will have a blue-gray coat upon maturity. Top of the rock's another one of those Indian muntjacs. Remember the one we saw at the hut? Fully grown, 2.5 feet at the shoulder. They're also called barking deer for the sound they make when excited. The other muntjac deer will be straight back the meadow, sitting in the swamp behind the tree. And walking across the meadow is our newest member of the Monorail family. This is a red-crowned crane, the largest and rarest species of crane in the world. She stands 5 feet high, has a 7-foot wingspan. We're hoping to introduce a male in the exhibit soon. She spends her summers in Siberia and migrates to southern Korea for the winters. In some cultures, she is considered a symbol of good luck, long life, and fidelity. Black squirrels aren't from Asia, we don't pick them up. Up to the back corner, cleaning itself, you'll see a China's tufted deer. Looks like a large rabbit on the rock back there. Fully grown, they get their name from that tuft of hair on their head where their antlers would be. They're extremely rare in zoos outside of China. We're very lucky to have them here. Come back in October, you'll see a bunch of them. They love the cold weather. In the warm weather, we very rarely see them at all. Peek through the trees, you'll see Happy again. Can't hide an elephant. It's right there to the left. See another monorail going by as well. We're now at the highest point of our journey, 35 feet above the Bronx River. The Wildlife Conservation Society realizes how important it is to maintain the Bronx River and Greenway, both as a healthy environment for wildlife